Welcome back. I'm Deborah Kaufman with Broadcast Beat, and we are at the 2017 SMPTE Conference and Exhibition. I have with me two new guests from Redesign Group. Directly to my right is Joe Sanginario, who's the founder and chief executive, correct, of Redesign Group. And next to him, Greg Ciaccio, who is a managing partner. Great, welcome gentlemen.
Thanks for having us, really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. So your company website, where I went to check you out,
yes,
has the interesting, is it the motto? Is it your company motto? The future belongs to the curious.
Yes.
Do explain. I agree with you, but what does that mean to you?
Yeah, funny, the website's still in beta, but that was a quote that was very important to us culturally. Something that we hope to embody as an organization, and also personally. And we think that there really is no greater technical skill to develop than one of having a curiosity. And I think that when you do become curious about nearly everything, you really become empowered to the point where you can create, and you can create positive change. And I think a lot of what SMPTE is about here to support creators is to also inspire that curiosity and the continuation of that creativity.
Yep.
I think that really as an organization in dealing with a lot of our clients, we've seen that there's really no greater time to have curiosity. Technology is growing at an accelerating pace. It's digitizing, democratizing every major industry, and really I think that organizations are really at a point where they've got to become really good digital businesses. The digitization process several decades ago really meant, how do we automate a lot of our internal paper-based processes? With cloud, mobile, social over the last decade, it's really turned into how do we deliver new products and services and communicate in an entirely new way with our customer base. And that's led to a whole new set of value creation in the market.
Well, it does seem if you're not curious in this day and age, you're going to be left behind.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. I mean, there's so many new things going on in terms of technology. And tell me a little bit about Redesign Group and what you do.
So Redesign really tries to embrace the problem-solving aspect that really comes from the complexity that's created as you see this accelerating pace of digitization happening across every vertical. One area that we focus on in particular is media and entertainment, and we're very excited to essentially be a consulting and systems integrator partner to help our clients manage through that complexity, embrace digital leadership, and be able to tap into new innovation that comes from that. We're excited about emerging platform shifts with augmented reality and virtual reality, and ultimately how technology can be leveraged to communicate in an entirely new way to their clients or potentially create value in an entirely new way as well.
And that is really exciting. I mean, I think augmented reality in particular is expected to really explode.
Yeah.
Do you have people calling you up saying, help, I don't know enough about this, how do I get involved? How does that work?
Yeah, without a doubt. So I think, there are a lot of technologies that surround augmented reality that are kind of all merging together. So you have the opportunity to see everything go digital. With that, you have the collection of more and more data sets. You have machine learning that comes as a result. You have artificial intelligence, which is really software driven to determine how can we derive better intelligence and make quicker decisions. You then have augmented reality, which has become kind of the digitization of nearly everything, where we have a chance to create an entirely new experience. And I think that the blend of all of these emerging technologies has caused a lot of complexity, as I mentioned. A lot of organizations are looking for partners like the Redesign Group to come in and help connect the interdependencies and really drive a whole new set of storytelling capabilities.
Interesting. And Greg, I'm presuming as managing partner that you're having a lot of conversations with some of these clients?
Yes. The industry is taking MR and AR and all the different Rs, and it's largely a marketing exercise, or has been, and it's no better time to be involved in this because everybody's curious about this. We all know AR is going to be huge. Apple's AR kit's out. There's a lot of other AR that's preceded that. it's going to work its way into our industry big time, and the challenges from a data standpoint are huge. We talked about 2K to 4K. This is many fold times that. So the thing is, how do we get high quality cinematic experiences in a way that makes budget sense?
And HDR, I imagine that's also
absolutely
part of the conversation.
Definitely. In fact, we're talking about ACEs for VR and for AR, and it makes
Really?
sense. Absolutely.
Oh, that's
Definitely.
so
Some of them are
interesting.
doing that, and it makes a lot of sense because you really want the fattest signal you can get. You want to feed it down that pipe because that data set will be used for many different things. It'll be used for non-AR, non-VR, and it'll also be used in headsets and down the road in holographic projections. And
Now,
you want to make sure that it all looks the same in every outlet.
Now, I'm a big fan of the Academy's ACES,
Yes.
but I'm so interested to hear that it's being applied to these kind of new kinds of new media, really. Is that a hard sell, or are these people familiar, the people you're working with,
Yeah.
are they familiar with ACES?
It's not a hard sell, but it's interesting because it does come out of the Academy and the ASC and some very high-end organizations, and most of the people that have been kind of out there dealing with the 360 landscape have started out with GoPro and are getting bigger. And it is a big
Right.
fat file. But if you think about it, when you want to leverage your assets as a studio, you want to make sure you always go in as big as you can.
Right.
And then you can take those same assets, and with those ODTs, you can spin off anything that you want, including media for headsets and for holographic displays and phones. So we are working with the VR committee that David Moran's running, and
Yes.
we are making sure that is something that we're highly considering is leveraging all of that technology to get the best asset you can.
Interesting. So you're working with the VR committee at the ASC? Is that
Yes,
correct?
it's the joint ICG,
Right.
VES, ASC, and now Producers Guild.
Oh, great. So
Yes.
they're all on it together. So what other topics have come out that is going to really enhance your company's ability to help people? With regard to VR, what other issues have
It's
arisen?
just a lot of data. I mean, if you're talking
Yeah.
about, we all know the Ozo camera has been discontinued now, so there's now a wide open playing field for new cameras out there. And I think getting all of that high quality footage out there times X amount of cameras into a quick pipeline you can take advantage of immediately is going to be a challenge.
And to do that really anywhere. And I think for augmented reality, virtual reality to really, reach its fullest potential, it needs to be accessible, and it needs to be set up as such that you don't have to go to a studio to do it.
Right.
That it can be done anywhere, and it can go into the home as well. And really create new experiences for the consumer, leveraging consumer-based devices. So for us, we're experimenting quite a bit in this space. We're trying to keep a finger on the pulse of where AR is going, and figure out how we can help our clients develop product sets that help tie all these things together.
That's fascinating stuff. I bet another challenge, I know we discussed this a little bit, is the fact that workflow now has
Right.
become, with so many different products, workflow it's almost bespoke, isn't it?
Right.
Tell me a little bit about how you work with your clients on establishing the most efficient workflows for them.
Yeah. So you want to take that? You want me to?
Sure. Yeah. So one of the things that we like to do, we're not just selling services and equipment. We basically will do an assessment and look at the entire workflow from the beginning to the end. And people like Steve Morgan that have been with Deluxe for 18 years, and we have a pretty wide bench, so we like to go deep and wide. Mm-hmm. And so basically, we have somebody that specializes in security, someone that specializes in color management. So we'll make sure that we don't basically approach anything as a you hired us for this. It's let's look at your whole organization. We'll deliver what we promised, but we'll also look at all these other things and consult. If we see that something's a major security concern and we
Yes.
know that you're going to go MPAA or CDSA in 6 months, we'll make sure and advise before that and remediate before that even happens. So we kind of look at the whole thing holistically from the time we set foot in the door.
Security is actually a great point.
Yes.
And I want to touch on that because, when we talked earlier about the digitization of nearly everything and organizations embracing digital leadership and being able to tap into the innovation that can be created out of that, a lot of the things that hinder the progression of that is security concerns.
Right.
and mitigating risk. When we think about workflow, we do want to fully understand everything from capture to distribution. Mm-hmm. We want to have a team that understands the interdependencies of all of those element layers. But we also want to design with security in mind, really, so that this pipeline and workflow can literally be extended to all corners of the globe, and that's the opportunity that I think we have, and one that we can present for our clients.
And it does seem, I mean, you're right, cybersecurity in particular, people, are fearful of ransomware,
Right.
and especially if they have valuable content in their facilities.
Yes.
Right.
They're pretty
Look what's
worried.
been happening with all the breaches recently. I think our industry has finally realized that just because something's in the cloud doesn't mean it's less secure than on-prem, because everyone's had an on-prem breach or two.
Exactly.
So I think that's important, that the cost factor is something else. So, if I send my media out to the cloud, am I going to pay a fortune to get it back? Is that kind of a ransom situation too?
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of trying to work through that with our clients to make sure that they're making the right blend of CapEx and OpEx to make sure that they can sustain what they have today and tomorrow, and then grow whenever they need to.
And I know the other issue that's going on in the TV and film industry is that it's not so local anymore. It's really
Right.
become global. And I imagine that's true for even smaller entities.
Yeah.
So
Especially.
how do you help clients with face that kind of big transition?
Yeah, it's a
Artist Anywhere.
great opportunity. We're interested in a platform that we're developing called Artist Anywhere. Essentially, you could take a lot of the microservices, if you will, that would be required to effectively launch a studio, and we want to tie this into an offering that allows a studio to launch a remote pipeline, where you can automate and provision, all of the services required, from software toolkits to cloud storage to render solutions, tying in security parameters in that process, enabling colorists to log in remotely and really build that remote pipeline. And our objective is, how can we do that in a secure way? Our project that we have created around it is called Artist Anywhere, and we're building a platform called Loop, which we believe can deliver against this. And that's in the R&D phase now. We're excited to figure out the right partners to help make that happen, and then work with our studio clients to determine how can they bridge from on-premise infrastructure to this Artist Anywhere model, and how can we do that in a very secure way.
Now, will this enable people to work out of their homes, or is it just going to mainly connect facilities?
Yeah, I think ideally we'd want people to be able to work in their sweatpants with their Resolve systems, from the kitchen table.
Security needs to be worked out.
Yeah.
That's paramount, and that's one of the reasons why it's not here today, right? The world is a very small place now, and I think we've so often thought of distant locations being for a lot of the roto work, but we're realizing there's a lot of great talent out there, and why shouldn't they be utilized?
Right.
So let's
right.
give them an application and a platform to do that.
Again, security is number one with how we design and make that possible.
So are you haven't settled on any partners yet? You're still in the phase of looking around?
we have a few partners that we're very interested in, and that we think have some of the emerging technology that could provide the microservice function on a platform like that we could offer. It's still in the discovery phase, but over the next 12 months we hope to begin launching some early beta versions of what we're putting together.
So when we meet at the 2018 SMPTE, you can tell
Yes.
me all about your
We're gonna be
implementation.
here.
That's right.
We're going to be here, and we're going to deliver.
Right. So speaking of partners, it sounds like what you do, systems integration, that's all about having partners, isn't
Right.
it?
That's correct.
So talk to me about who your partners are.
Well, this entire conversation started with curiosity,
Right.
and that leads to, how can you be a great problem solver for your clients, and that's our hope. Be great problem solvers, solve problems from a broad perspective. That
Right.
really means we've got to go out and find the most emerging technology partners we can that can deliver against that. For us, it starts first with culture. We really look for partners that have great integrity with their team culturally, and that maintain that level of trust with the clients that they work with. And so number one, it's always culture, and it's got to be a great culture fit. We want them to believe in the same things that we believe. Be curious, build trust, be transparent, and really look to create nothing but absolute value for our client base. And then number two is, do they have an emerging technology that can really help move the envelope forward for some of the most emerging challenges? that the M&E industry is faced with. And those are the types of clients that we or partners that we like to align to. Who is disrupting things and allowing creativity to emerge as a result.
Do you have any partners you can announce now, or is it?
Well, I'll say that we really like Pixit Media, and the Pixit team, who's not too far from this booth here, we believe is really disrupting the way large studio clients think about consolidating their workflows and then leveraging both on-prem as well as public cloud services and doing that in a secure way. And so we're very, very happy with our partnership with Pixit Media.
Well, you've kind of opened a topic of conversation, because being in the cloud is obviously one of the big buzzes of the show.
Right.
So talk a little bit about, what do content creators and providers need to know about being in the cloud?
Sure. Well, I'll start first with some of the larger studios. I think the sheer volume of data has become a pretty big challenge, and I believe that is what a lot of studio clients are looking to leverage the cloud for, is how do we manage this data? And a lot of that is it's hierarchical management of storage. And so when you've got petabytes beyond petabytes of archived content, I think it's how can you make sense of what is the governance of that data, what is the value of that data to our business, how can we appropriately align that content to our on-premise production systems that may need to call that back into the production workflow more immediately to complete a project, versus when can data be moved out to cloud storage at a much lower cost and really be kept for longer periods of time, but still maintain access to that. So when it comes to cloud, I would actually caution the way a large organization would move into a cloud model, and instead work on the data governance first, building out a roadmap to then determine how to classify that content, and then where should that content live within your workflow? What stays on-prem, and what can effectively move out to the cloud? And how can you do that in a secure way? And then obviously not increase your costs. I love your comment earlier about ransomware could also be the cost of pulling that data back out of a cloud provider. So
yes, that's something that doesn't get discussed a lot, the cost of pulling the content back,
It seems really easy in a low-cost model to just decide to quickly move all content out to the cloud. We at Redesign would caution that. We'd say, understand what data you have first, define a clear data management strategy, determine what your data architecture underneath that should look like, and then provide the hierarchical management tool sets that can proactively move data in and out of these tiers, including cloud, as needed and dictated by the workflow requirements. And we think that that's the most price palatable way to leverage the cloud, and we have ways of making that the most secure way to leverage the cloud.
Well, I mean, this is clearly your value added, is to get people to think about things that they either don't want to think about or haven't thought about at all, and helping them construct a plan, making them prepare before just being drawn by a buzzword or drawn by a technology.
Absolutely.
Because we've come from a background of film and tape.
Right.
Film is a natural archive. You don't have to think about it. When everything goes to tape, your project managers have a vault system. They can look it up, they can touch and feel that tape, and you know exactly what you have, and at the end of the season or the end of the feature, it gets boxed up and it gets taken away. Now, with all the files we have now, there's no way for them really to tell what they've got. So one of the things we're working on is really great asset management tools that will enable a producer to know exactly what they have, that if they've got 3 copies of the same file, that's too many copies.
Right.
So what you said about the governance, that makes a lot of sense. Know what you have and make sure that you're actually sending it to the right place for the right reasons.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's a very good reason to go to a systems integrator, and as well as the variety of technologies you offer to solve problems.
Absolutely. And it starts first with that consultative approach of assessing where you are as a business, what the data factory looks like in terms of your studio operations, understanding the data set, designing the most appropriate workflow, and determining how that pipeline could be extended into the cloud and where that becomes relevant for a customer, and doing it obviously with security woven into every aspect of the design.
Great. So I'm curious, being at SMPTE this year, have you had a chance to wander the floor and listen to papers at all?
Well, one, I'm glad you're curious. and Greg, you spent a lot of time here this week. Anything that's
little bit of
very
time.
interesting to you?
So have you seen anything interesting, Greg?
Well, the Pixit's very interesting.
Yes, okay.
We love Pixit Media.
We love it.
Yeah.
There's so many cool things here. I really can't pick one out. I mean, obviously, I'm a big HDR fan. I'm a big
Right.
Dolby fan. I love seeing what they've got down here in the corner. I'm all about the elevation of images into the best experience possible. I take delivery of my first HDR TV set today, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Very exciting.
So I just say just any technology that's going to elevate the creative business. AI is a big thing right now, and I think that's part of a very important mission is let AI and let machine learning help in a lot of what we're doing, which is very, very apropos in our business. There's a lot of
Absolutely.
information that's done manually that we can take advantage of AI and machine learning to help with categorizing that and actually even making decisions down the road.
Right.
There's a lot of that, and I think this is an area where I'm sure that your company could be very helpful to kind of demystify a lot of the stuff out there.
Absolutely.
And
That
what's the most helpful.
blockchain and how some of these, again, microservices can be tied into media asset management platforms and how this can obviously enable more efficiencies for how a studio runs and operates.
Interesting. Blockchain as well, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
thought Richard Welch and Jeff Kemper from Google did a great job on the other morning, and fantastic stuff. I'm glad that it was a keynote.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What's exciting about SMPTE is all of the people that are truly participating in the innovation process that helps move this industry forward and create new and unique experiences. And I think that's the best that has come out of being here at this event.
They're all here.
They're all
Yeah.
here.
And you're here.
People are here, and we're here, and
Yes.
you're here, and
Right.
this is great.
Great. Well, I will see you at next SMPTE then.
I look
Yep.
forward to that.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
thanks
much.
for having us.
Thanks for
Thank you, Deborah.
participating.
Take care.
Take care.